Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. It is Sunday, so it is our final day with the Charizard X team that we've been featuring throughout the week, so we're just going to jump onto the ladder and see how high we can climb up. We have been able to pick up a bunch of wins in the last two episodes, so, 2 more wins today would put us back over 1800, which is nice since we did fall earlier when we started with the team. As always, if you enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like on the video. Just takes a quick sec, and I'd really appreciate it. Japanese opponent with a rating of 1797 to start off the day, with a pretty interesting team here of Aerodactyl, Amoonguss, Hydreigon, Heatran, Azumarill, and Landorus T. Now, based off his team, the only one potential Pokemon that can even Mega Evolve is that Aerodactyl, so that's pretty interesting. First question I'm asking is, which Mega Evolution do I want to bring? Venusaur or Charizard? Of course, putting Venusaur back onto the team after getting rid of it earlier on. The double Mega here is really nice, especially because I get to bluff the weather here, and I'm curious, if he thinks I'm running a Sun team, what Pokemon would he bring, as opposed to him knowing I have Charizard X. I mean, Charizard X is decent here, especially because of its ability to knock out Amoonguss, but I don't know, I don't like my matchup here too much in general. I feel like Venusaur is slightly better because it can wall the Azumarill, it can Giga Drain / Leech Seed, the Aerodactyl, and the Landorus. Hydreigon can't OHKO it, nor can Heatran, so just kind of sustainable through its bulk. So I'm leaning towards bringing Venusaur. But figuring out what I want to lead with is also very important. I actually like Suicune a lot here. He does not have a great way to really touch Suicune in general. So I'm leaning towards Suicune and maybe Landorus on my end here, actually. Or Aegislash, but Landorus can cover the Hydreigon a bit better. Now, even Clefairy actually works here. The main reason why I want to bring Clefairy is because it completely shuts down the Hydreigon, so if my opponent decides to lead with it, I can play around it. Though I guess Hydreigon and Amoonguss would also kind of mess me up. I'm going to go with Landorus. I think that's a bit safer. Venusaur in the back and Aegislash as the last one. So I'm going to go full offense here. Not going to bring Charizard, obviously, since I'm bringing Mega Venusaur. And I'm going to keep Clefairy on the bench here as well. It'd be nice, but I feel like against an Amoonguss, which can Spore, that really shuts it down. So normally I'd bring Clefairy here, I think, if my opponent didn't have Amoonguss. But Amoonguss also can Rage Powder and redirect attacks away, and it's just not enough offense. So we're going to see Hydreigon and Aerodactyl come out against my Suicune and Landorus. And this is actually a pretty solid lead matchup. I'd say one of the better lead matchups I could have asked based off my opponent's team. Because I get the Intimidate off, which is really nice. Obviously I've got that Scarf superpower, though obviously the question here is, do I want to go for it? I also can U-turn out immediately. And yeah, he just doesn't have a great way to deal with Suicune and Landorus combined. I think I'm just going to Tailwind here. Now the thing is, if his Hydreigon is, for example, a Life Orb variant, he can Protect, and given that it's Mega Aerodactyl, he can actually go for like an Ice Fang onto Landorus. I could also just go for the Rock Slide immediately. You know what? Rock Slide does around 50% to the Aerodactyl. Any chip damage is good. So I'm just going to go for it this first turn. There's not too much he can really do in the position he's in. Aerodactyl can't do too much to a Suicune, especially since I'm bold and he's intimidated. But he's not going to Protect with either, so I do kind of wish I went for the Superpower onto Hydreigon, but I'll take that. Rock Slide does over 50 to the Aerodactyl. It actually gets a flinch as well, which is really, really fortunate. He's going to go for the Dark Pulse here onto Suicune. Going to do a decent amount. Based off that damage output, I would guess he's Choice Specs. And that was a really fortunate flinch. I don't know if he was going for an Ice Fang, Rock Slide, or Tailwind, but now, I can just go for the Ice Beam onto his Hydreigon and the Rock Slide. So part of using Rock Slide in the first turn is it can give you those flinches. I was predicting a potential Protect from that Hydreigon, which is why I went for that play. Wasn't fishing for a flinch, but I did get pretty lucky. And I also didn't want to give up the offensive position I had because, sure, I could have U-turned out to, prevent a potential Ice Fang, as he actually withdraws the Aerodactyl. So if his Hydreigon is choiced here, it's just going to get knocked out as Amoonguss comes in here. And yeah, he's just going to take this Rock Slide and Ice Beam, which should be able to pick up the knockout. Let's see. Rock Slide brings Hydreigon under 50, Suicune gets the Ice Beam off, and it does pick up the knockout, yeah. So, really, couldn't have asked for a better first two turns, and that's why I think leading Landorus Suicune was really important. Actually, if my opponent decided to bring the Amoonguss as a lead, it could have been really bad, but fortunately not the case. He's going to bring a Heatran here now, which I'm alright with. Just in general, I think my team has a pretty good matchup, though it's still far from over. Now the question is, do I actually want to switch out? I think I'm going to go for the Snarl, and he kind of has to go for a Actually, he can just protect Spore here. I think that's his best play. And I don't want to give up the offensive pressure I have. And he's not even going to protect or Rage Powder. Interesting. So maybe predicting a switch out here, but Snarl is really, really good against both Heatran and Amoonguss. First of all, you know, he can't redirect Snarl away from Amoonguss, but he's probably going to get a Heat Wave and a Spore off here, which isn't good for me. Oh, but he goes for the sub, actually, which I'm fine with because Snarl actually goes through Substitute being, you know, one of those moves. And I get the flinch onto Amoonguss as well, so RNG has definitely been on my side here, but, you know, that's the thing, like, he doesn't have a great way to deal with Scarf Landers, and I do feel really bad because he could have knocked out Landers potentially had he gone for the Ice Fang that first turn, but, you know, not going to be the case here. Let's see, I'm going to go for a Ice Beam onto Amoonguss, and I'm just going to Rock Slide. Because once Amoonguss goes down, he really doesn't have many answers. Yeah, he's not going to Rage Powder, he's not going to try to redirect anything away. And, you know, I got the Snarl off too. I don't think Ice Beam will actually knock him out here, and Rock Slide doesn't knock out the sub either, so good turn for my opponent to get some momentum back, as, yeah. He actually goes for the Flamethrower, wow. You don't see that every day on Heatran. Normally it's like Heat Wave, Earth Power, Substitute, Protect. And he finally does get the Spore off, so something's going my opponent's way now, but I don't know, he just has no answers to this Landorus whatsoever, and that's kind of his mistake in not bringing something like a Azumarill or his own Landorus to intimidate me. And I feel like I just was able to get the lead advantage in terms of leading with Landorus and Suicune. So I'm going to go, you know, try to wake up with Suicune here. Don't really want to switch out. You know, Mega Venusaur is obviously decent in the sense that it can not tank Heat Waves, but they're like 3-hit KOs. But the thing is, right now I can't just switch out because I'm not Mega Evolved. He's going to try to switch out to get that Regenerator health, but Rock Slide here is actually going to connect. Going to miss Heatran, but, you know, I'm fine. I can't complain about RNG given how fortunate I've been. And I'm going to be able to pick up the knockout here onto Aerodactyl. He is going to go for another Flamethrower, but, you know, he has no way to really beat Suicune at this rate. And ultimately, I think the flinch onto Aerodactyl could have determined this game right from the start, but I still have no idea what he went for. You know, I don't know if he has Ice Fang. Presumably he does, though. And I, you know, would feel perfectly fine if he knocked out Landers. I think it would have made the match a lot more interesting, so I feel a bit bad for getting all this luck, but that's Pokemon. So he's going to bring in Amoonguss here once again. Maybe I should actually switch out Land. I don't know. Well, the thing is, it's not like his Heatran can really touch my Suicune here. So I'm going to go for a Snarl in case I wake up and go for the Rock Slide. Yeah, my opponent's actually going to just forfeit. So really, really quick game one for you guys today with Landers T really clutching through everything. So I didn't really need to bring a Mega Evolution. But based off the Pokemon my opponent ended up bringing, Charizard actually wouldn't have been a terrible call, but I just felt like Venusaur was a bit safer. You know, Charizard can get hit by Hydreigon through Draco Meteor, Aerodactyl can Rock Slide it, Heatran can Earth Power it, Landers can Earthquake it, Azumarill can even go for a Water type attack onto it, which is neutral, but still does a decent amount. So ultimately, I think the Pokemon choices were right, and he just led really poorly into Landorus and Suicune, though. You know, I feel like based on that first turn, I should have been punished a bit harder, especially since I was predicting a Hydreigon Protector switch out instead of just superpowering it. But hey, that brings us over 1800 after a long week of being under it. So let's see if we can keep it up and close it out with a win in today's episode, as we find Kylie from New Jersey with a rating of 1812. This is actually really funny because this should be Kylie Chua, who is actually Paul Chua's little sister. She's in the seniors division, played at the World Championships last year. Really strong player. Paul's trained her very, very well. Her and my brother actually battle all the time too. So it's funny because I play Paul all the time, Brendan plays Kylie, and this should be a very interesting match. Her rating obviously very high, over the 1800s, and she is still only in the seniors division. So, you know, you can expect big performances from her throughout the season, as she's on track for a Worlds invite, I believe. But she's got a Rain team here, you know, resembling things that Paul have used in the past with Politoed, Kingdra, and Ludicolo. You know, you don't see all three of those on the same team every day. Last three being Thundurus, Kangaskhan, and Ferrothorn. So, in terms of sets and whatnot, you know, relatively standard. Presumably, like Assault Vest, Ludi, Mega Kangaskhan, probably a lot more Rocky Helmet, Amoonguss. I'm wondering if Paulie actually has a Scarf here. Now, I don't think Charizard X is the best Pokemon to bring into a Rain matchup, and I think Venusaur covers Rain very, very nicely, so I think Venusaur is the clear pick here in terms of leads, or just in terms of Pokemon. That Thundurus is a bit difficult to take care of, mainly because I normally use Landers, you know, Rock Slide and whatnot, but you can't Rock Slide when your opponent has Rain. So I'm going to go with Venusaur and actually Aegislash. Aegislash does really well against Kylie's team. And for the back two, let's see. Beating that Ferrothorn is going to be difficult. There's no doubt in my mind she's going to bring it. I think I'm going to have Landers here for the Intimidate. And for the last one, it's really between Suicune and Charizard. Well, there's no reason to bring Charizard. Not Charizard. I could bring Charizard actually to beat the Ferrothorn. The fact that I'm actually considering it is kind of crazy, but I don't know. It's not like Suicune's amazing here either. Though it could Snarl. Could also Scald Burn the Ferrothorn. Maybe Clefairy is actually the right call here. Yeah, I'm actually going to bring Clefairy. I feel like I can do enough with the other 3 Pokemon in Venusaur, Aegislash, and Landorus. So if Clefairy can, you know, help me out with its ability, obviously I use Clefairy for redirection and more importantly Friend Guard. I can tank hits that I normally wouldn't be able to survive and that'll help me out a bit more. Kylie's going to lead with Aubrey and the Thundurus. Actually, maybe Thundurus is Aubrey, I didn't see there. Against Venusaur and Aegislash, so actually if I led Landorus here, it would have been really good. But, hey, that's fine. Of course, this is the bulkier Aegislash that I mentioned. And it's weakness policy as well, so if she goes for a Sucker Punch, she'll walk into... I mean, I think the best play here is to protect. Actually, I kind of want to switch Venusaur out. I'm going to switch out to Landorus T. Maybe I could double switch here, actually. Yeah, I'm actually going to pull the double switch here. Like, it's highly unlikely she goes for a HP Ice. I mean, maybe she went for a Double Edge onto Landorus' slot, and if that's the case, that'd be really bad. But I get the Intimidate off, I get Clefairy in for free, and then I can follow me and go for maybe Rock Slides or even Superpowers. So she ended up not going with Rain, which was really smart on her end. I'm guessing she actually probably doesn't have... I mean, she has to bring one of her 3 Rain Pokemon, which Ludicolo beats very nicely, but presumably having Ferrothorn in the back as well is a big threat, so I'm going to have to watch out for that. And Kangaskhan is going to Mega Evolve. Let's see who it... I mean, given let it Mega Evolve, I presume it went for the Fake Out onto Thundurus. Or the... Not Thundurus, Landorus. Yeah, it doesn't do very much there, especially with the Intimidate and the Friend Guard. She goes for the T-Wave. Okay, onto Clefairy. That can make things a bit more annoying, but good play from her there. I really just want to Superpower Kangaskhan. I mean, yeah, nothing on our team can actually take a Superpower, so I'm just going to Superpower and go for the follow... Or actually, I can Helping Hand Rock Slide. I'm actually leaning towards that. Let's see. Based off her team, she probably has Farthorn in the back, and if she doesn't, then Rain does really nicely. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually just going to Helping Hand Rock Slide. She probably can't even knock out my Landorus here. Because it's intimidated and I've got Friend Guard, so a Double Edge would put me up very low. So, yes, she switches out the Kangaskhan, perfect, into Politoed. So she did bring in Politoed. I'm wondering if she brought one more Rain Pokemon. Because if I can knock out Thundurus, then Venusaur does really nicely here. So, hopefully no full paralysis here. Oh, wow, the double switch out. Nicely done on her end. Wasn't anticipating that. It's actually going to be Ludicolo, so she's still going to be taking a lot of damage here, and this is really good news for the Venusaur, which I have in the back. So I'm going to get the Helping Hand off. Hopefully Rock Slide connects with both. Does connect, so should do around at least 40% to both Pokemon, I would assume. Yep, just under 50 for both. I'm going to switch out to Aegislash over Venusaur, because I want to Mega Evolve before anything else. And I'm going to go for the... I'm going to Moonblast. Actually, maybe I should Protect. No, I'm just going to Moonblast the Ludi here. Get some damage off. Don't know what item it has. That was a really smart double switch on her end, and I think it's a testament to how good the Chewel family is in general. She's going to go straight for the Scald here, probably targeting Landorus. Oh, no, targeting Clefairy, actually. And the Surf. Okay, so she's got Surf. That's good to know. Clefairy hangs on with a bit, and I get the Moonblast off. Shouldn't KO, but any damage is damage. Yeah, that was a crit too. But I actually get the special attack drop, which is really fortunate. Given that she's Surf, I'm guessing she's Choiced. I would think so. So, let's see. I could Wide Guard here. Or... Okay, I want to do this correctly. I could switch out to Venusaur as well. Having Landorus is really important because I can get that superpower off against Kangaskhan, and that's what I'm going to want to do. You know what? I'm going to go Shadow Ball Politoed. And switch out into Venusaur? No. Shadow Ball Ludi and switch out into Venusaur. Yeah. Reason why I'm shadowing Ludi here is because I assume Polly is Choice, and she's actually going to pull the switch out there, which is fine by me. back into Kami, which is that Thundurus. Though a Shadow Ball into Thundurus would have been really nice here. Hey, that's fine. Right now, she has no real way to beat the Mega Venusaur other than maybe potentially paralyzing it. I mean, this is going to be a really close game. She's going to go for the Scald here, probably into Venusaur, really hoping for no burn. If I can avoid the burn, that would be great. But she gets the burn, unfortunately. However, I at least get to knock out the Ludicolo here with a Shadow Ball. And, you know, I did get a special attack decrease, so... And based off how fortunate RNG was in the first game of today, you know, I can't really be complaining. But based off that switch, I mean, that confirms my suspicions that she's choiced and locked into Surf. Or not locked into it, but, you know, that's one of the moves. And so, I think I should have stayed in with Clefairy there just because, you know, it was very likely she could get the burn there with the Scald. So that was kind of careless on my end. Now, I would guess she's going to Thunder Wave Clefairy. Or Thunder Wave the... Aegislash, because obviously that goes through King's Shield. Kind of actually just want to go for the Sacred Sword here. Sacred Sword. Mega Evolve, and... I'll go for the Sludge Bomb onto Thundurus, because that will put it in Rock Slide KO range from Landorus T. I think Landorus T is probably the most important Pokemon in this match. And I'm playing really aggressively this turn, and this can punish me pretty bad, but Venusaur can take a return or a Double Edge. Yeah, she's going to go for the Taunt, actually, onto Aegislash, so preventing me from King Shielding in future turns, and she just goes for the return onto Venusaur, so that's perfect. Obviously, well, Venusaur is like, the crit there. Yeah, that's actually going to put me in burn KO range, which is unfortunate, but I get a lot of free damage off here. Sludge Bomb onto the Thundurus, and gets the poison, so lots of status conditions inflicted this game. And I do get the Sacred Sword off, excuse me, successfully against Kangaskhan, doing around 50%. Of course, I'm running Sacred Sword over, excuse me. Just lost my train of thought there. Over Flash Cannon because I'm running weakness policy on the Bisharp, not the Bisharp, the Aegislash. I keep on mixing between Bisharp and Aegislash. I remember, I think it was in 2 episodes ago where I completely messed up. But that was a really good turn for me, and that basically played out perfectly. I was expecting maybe a Thunder Wave onto Aegislash, but I think it was a really clever move to go for the taunt, because now, you know, basically forces a switch. Though she might just predict that. So I'm actually just going to Sacred Sword Kangaskhan and Rock Slide. Rock Slide should knock out Thundurus. She might want to switch out Kangaskhan. I mean, if she goes for Sucker Punch onto my my Aegislash, I guess that could be bad. I'm not sure. I might actually be able to take this. She's going to go for the Sucker Punch. Yeah, going to target into the Aegislash there, so I kind of walked into that one. I thought she might have predicted it, and, you know, and went for, like, a Double Edger onto the Landorus. And I admit, oh! Live and die by Rock Slide, you know? I got really lucky in the first game of today's episode, so this one I'm going to double miss, and that's going to be the loss here, unfortunately. Rain's going to stop. I guess I deserve to lose that one, though. I mean, she went for the good play there, and I got a bit too fancy trying to predict there. I think if I just switched out on Rock Slide, I would have had the game not comfortably won, but a bit more better. But I played a bit too aggressively there. Walked into the Sucker Punch, unfortunately. And I guess that was her real way to really win. Though, even if I switched out to Clefairy, since I did miss Rock Slide on both Pokemon there, I think I would have lost ultimately. So, RNG in the end, not coming through, but... You know, pretty funny episode because Rock Slide helped us out so much in the first game of today's episode. So, you know, that's going to be game, and very well played game by Kylie. I thought I managed it pretty well up until that last turn, but unfortunately, things did not manage to pull out, and it would have been a closer game. I mean, if I switched and Rock Slide connected with both of her Pokemon, then I think I surely would have won that one, because then I could just Helping Hand Rock Slide the following turn to basically win the game. So I guess that's the play I should have gone for. I really thought she would have went for the return onto Landorus, predicting me, but in retrospect, like, that doesn't make much sense. So, you know, I made a bad play there, and ultimately, regardless of what play I would have made, it wouldn't have mattered based off RNG, but still, I deserve to lose that one in the end, I think, because of being too careless with the Aegislash there. So we're going to split today's episode 1-1, Charizard X actually not being used at all. So, you know, that's why I like using Charizard and Venusaur, because it gives you so many different options, and both are fantastic Mega Evolutions. So, that's going to be it for this episode and for this team. We're probably just below 1800, so next week really will be, you know, trying to climb all the way back up into the maybe 1850s or even the 1900s. Ratings do reset, I think, in 2 weeks around, so ideally we'd finish with a rating of around 1850 if that's the goal. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Really RNG involved one, you know, live and die by Rock Slide, that's what I say. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Alright, peace.